ready for the premiere of Hourglass Existence.
So throughout pre-production and production, me and Spencer had coined this term Gauntlet Week, which referred to our second week of principal photography, because every day that we had lined up was a really big day, and it had to be that way for the schedule. The pinnacle of Gauntlet Week was Scarfs.
Scarfs Auditorium is like this place where dreams go to die.
We had a ridiculous amount of shots scheduled for the day.
That was a 9-page shoot day.
So a little bit of background. My name's Luke Reed. Duke and I, we go way back.
I think that was my first day meeting Luke, who basically just played himself.
The premieres were, of course, very reminiscent of some of the premieres that me and Spencer had done. You know, he'd always ask me to do premiere speeches. We'd get together and he'd hype me up, I'd hype him up.
He's like, just bring up a briefcase or something like that.
Be professional.
Yeah, be hella profesh.
I don't know if I need an entire case full of briefs. I was thinking maybe one extra pair, maybe two, just in case things get super dicey on stage, you know what I mean?
What's up, bro? Oh, did you catch one?
Yeah.
You caught one of the diaper copies?
I did.
Heck yeah.
Scarfs is actually one of my favorite scenes in the film. But Scarfs was extremely difficult to shoot.
The auditorium just got really, really hot because the AC had to be off for sound.
I couldn't stay in there for more than 5 or 10 minutes without wanting to die.
It actually got so hot that the camera ended up shutting down.
Rocco got a little hot. He just needs to cool down a bit. He's good now.
Towards the end of the night, we kind of realized that we had too many shots planned.
This was also probably my worst day as a first AD. It could have been scheduled a lot better, and I could have communicated a lot better.
The day just kind of went from pretty good to getting worse and worse. We started losing time on audience reactions, so then we're cutting the audience reactions.
A main issue was we did not have a first AD. We had a producer grip second AC, first AD.
We had a first AD, and they bailed, of course. So Andrew kind of had to take on that responsibility, and he's never done it before.
So I felt a lot of the responsibility on me to make sure that we got the shots, which is difficult to do because you're kind of trying to tell your director to hurry up.
It started getting a bit more tense between the crew about how we were going to get this done, what we needed.
There are 3 critical shots we need. We have time for 2 with a hard out at 10 o'clock.
We can do an angle of Sawyer reacting and Sawyer and Marvin's intimate moment, or we can film the projector screen. And it's we absolutely need both of those.
How many times must I jump up a 90-foot crane before
We also needed a section of Marvin's speech. And so I'm stuck in this impossible situation.
As soon as we finish shooting that one part in the back, Connor's just like, all right, let's go. And we're just rearranging everything. And halfway through that, Spencer starts to kind of pick up on what's going on. And he's like, wait a minute, no, I need one more shot. We need to get the shot back here.
And Connor's like, no, we need to get the rest of Marvin's speech.
And I'm like, no, because I knew Andy's leaving that next morning, so if we're gonna get anything with her, we need to get it now. And we're having this argument in front of everyone, and it was really heated.
Spencer had to raise his voice and say, no, I'm in charge.
I'm putting my foot down. We're not doing that.
I was freaking out oh, if we don't get this shot, we're screwed.
It was probably the furthest apart we had been as a core 3.
There's blame on all sides because Andrew didn't schedule it right, and then Connor's out of line saying what shot we're gonna use, and then I come across as this authoritative dictator.
And then we're wrapped, and then Andrew's like, okay, everyone start packing everything.
We had to put the entire room back together, so it wasn't just we could pack up our stuff and leave. There was just so much to do in a matter of 10 or 20 minutes before we had to be out of that space.
And everybody was just kind of feeling the aftermath of the 3 people who are supposed to be so close together, just not on the same page.
It was just, yeah, there was definitely some high moments, but there was a lot of low moments that we had to just get through.
Next morning, Connor and Andrew and I had another meeting, of course. We all kind of apologized and made up, and was we all could have done things better. And
we will go back at some point to get 3 or 4 shots next week. We'll keep going. We're getting all the coverage we need.
Day 9, we filmed at the school.
Which was pretty interesting because we couldn't get in.
The person who was supposed to let us in was a no-show.
Something weird would happen every day that we would just be like, wow, did not see this coming.
I just thought I'd start out by saying that Space Waves has had its fair share of obstacles to overcome.
We're locked out of the school. That's our first problem. We're like, crap, we gotta get this unlocked to figure this out because extras are coming and everything.
We even were getting to the point where we were thinking that we weren't going to be able to shoot in the school at all.
And by now, I'm just so used to everything going wrong that I'm not like, oh no, what are we going to do to get in? I'm thinking, all right, how do we want to reschedule the rest of our production?
We had done such a good job of, if something had gone wrong, being able to reschedule the days. But at this point, there weren't a lot of scenes left to film. It was really a tough thing to be like, well, what can we reschedule? Because there's not really much that we can reschedule. Are we about to lose this day?
I did one last dummy check around the building to see if I could find an open door.
And then the front door bursts open, Connor kicks it through, and he's like, you're all looking to shoot a movie? And they're like, yes, we can get inside.
But we're expecting a bunch of extras for our classroom scene.
And one extra showed up.
I was like, Andrew, just send him home, dude.
We were like, okay, no extras, what are we gonna do?
We could only film the hallway now, and we have to do the classroom in SoCal. So what do? We can't have the scene the way it is.
Volleyball girls are cute. Should have graduated. And my original scene was very minimal. I was supposed to be like fighting with a vending machine.
Okay, young man.
Tyson comes in with like, look, let me blueprint this for you guys, and I think we can make this work. So we all sat down, basically rewrote the entire scene.
Hey there, Mr. Principal. Sir, I would just like to take a moment of your time, if you don't mind, to talk to you about geometry.
You'll come back at 4 p.m. today. Come to the office then.
Wait, but I don't think you understand.
Now it was like this cat and mouse thing of Duke running and trying to stop the principal from getting in the school.
I thought that was pure genius, the way that he was able to think of all of that on the spot.
Space Waves was here. The school scene was also Andy's last day, so that was a hard goodbye for all of us.
Like when you go on adventures with friends, you just have memories to go off of. But we have an entire movie, so thank you all. It's been a pleasure.
Her and I had become really close because it was just the two of us staying at the Tribble house. So we just spent a lot of time like talking and listening to music and just connecting. And I was realizing like, oh no, now she's leaving. Like this is going to totally change.
Andy had to leave early because of the time of her flight, so we weren't even fully done. She had to leave kind of in the middle.
My heart was like up in my throat, dreading having to leave.
As I was hugging her goodbye, Kelly started doing room tone. So then we couldn't move.
We were just like in this really long hug.
And then the sound blankets come down and we're like laughing and crying.
Just realizing that we didn't know the next time that we were going to be able to see each other and stuff, and the friendship that we had made during that time, it was tough.
We ended up being able to shoot all the stuff we needed, and one of these days we need to do our fireworks at night scene, so you guys like in the mood?
He's like, I just got these new fireworks, dude, and they're gonna be sick. And I'm like, okay, dude, like how big are they? And he's like, they're not that big. I watched a little video, it's like a little spark.
I was told that the fireworks would have an explosion probably about this big.
We're all pretty close, and it's a low shot, so we have Rocco on the ground.
And then Marvin. Spencer's like, get a little closer. Dude, it's like 4 feet in front of me. And he's like, no, get a little closer, get in there. Like, we need to get everybody in the shot. And I'm like, okay. All right, let's do this.
Oh my god. Plexiglass and a bomb shelter.
I don't know how I didn't get burned, but it was just like.
That was a good one.
Yeah, dude.
The neighbors weren't too psyched. There's this guy in the background like, shut up, or something.
We can't get too loud because it's midnight. It's midnight. The only star shining is our eyes.
We're all laughing and we're joking. And then all of those arguments that happened during the week doesn't matter anymore because we're just like finally glad to have a break and we're enjoying each other's company as friends again.
Wait,